Bill, can you tell us a little bit about your role in Auswide Bank and tell us a little more about the organisation?
Certainly. Auswide Bank commenced in the 1960s as a building society, really with the purpose of helping central Queensland customers get a home. So it's been driven by community, it's been driven for customers, and our focus has always been on customers. Of course, as that's moved forward, Central Queensland customers have aged, as has shareholder base, and not always accomplished in digital services. However, we've had to bring those customers with us while still providing for their needs. And as we move forward, we want to provide a platform to do that. COVID has helped us accomplish that. The customers driven through our branches has fallen by about 20% over 2020. And even though we've opened up a lot more, particularly in Queensland and regional Queensland where there hasn't been a large amount of COVID, the numbers through our branches has not rebounded.
Okay.
So we're going to need to, and we've seen a real need for those customers to use digital services.
But I'm interested, Bill, because you were telling me that you were embarking on a digital transformation. So were you fortunate to be in the right place at the right time when COVID struck, in terms of having the resources to deliver?
Absolutely, and that is across the board. In 2019, for example, our business continuity program was probably lagging a little bit behind. And whether it was good luck or good management, we decided that we'd run some tests. In finance, I said to my staff at the end of 2019, we're going to be working from home in 2 weeks, knowing that we could not do that necessarily.
Yeah.
But in November of 2019, by that shock, we really got together and were able to operate from home with our treasury and accounting and finance functions. So when February, March of 2020 came, we were ready. As I said, it was a little bit of stroke of good luck.
Oh, it's foresight.
But I'm chairman of the business continuity program, so I had to be on top of it. So that was great.
Yeah.
But just as importantly, we really needed to be looking after our customers, probably more importantly, and those senior citizens who we deal with, which, you know, the backbone of our bank. They provide our funding. So it's not only about getting the loans out there, they provide the funding for our bank. And so we've had an opportunity to train, to get email addresses, to get mobile numbers, to train them how to use those to do digital transactions. So it's really basic stuff, but it's about providing the omni-channel service for our customers. And COVID's helped us.
And I get the feeling from what you said is, post-COVID, as we move through it, the customers are quite happy with these platforms. There's not a desire to go back to the old way of doing things.
Well, once you've used the digital services, you're going to stick with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't go into a branch for anything other that's not business related, you know, for the bank. And I think that people are learning that process. If you can do it online, if you can make your payments, if you can apply for your loan, transact, BPay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever you need to do, people are going to use that.
Okay, Bill, I'm hearing you say your digital transformation is digitising the applications that you deliver to customers. What was the hardest challenge of digitising those applications, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, the process of digitising the applications are very difficult. It's a combination. All the organisational components have to work together. We, being a smaller bank, have silos, believe that or not, and we've had to work very, very hard at that. And we've actually brought in an external person at chief level to bring us all together, set our priorities. As a CFO, I have the strings of the budget to control. We stood back in the last year. We took the 17 major requests that were required across the organisation and we pulled them apart. We challenged on what the budget was for each of the digitisation processes, what it would deliver to the bank, and then reprioritised them. And in a month's time, the top 5 are going to be ticked off by the board. Okay. So we pulled it apart. And one of the things that were missing were not only the rewards we're going to reap from the investment, but also the need to convince the board that that will deliver to our customers. That's got to be the key. Now, of course, we're a public company, so we've always got an eye on the bottom line. Yeah. Our shareholders are very important. Our stakeholders have to be considered across the board. But ultimately, if you're not delivering to your customers, it's not going to deliver to the bottom line.
And I heard there, Bill, the importance of prioritisation. Because you can sometimes get overwhelmed by the size of the magnitude of a transformation. But the ability to say, what is going to be the best investment of our time to deliver progress on that, helps people sort of see the journey.
Absolutely. And I had to deliver a finance transformation process. And in some stages, it's difficult to convince people that that's going to deliver to the bottom line. So we had to show them how that transformation process over the next 2 years will deliver to the bank. Because rolling out budgets, rolling out P&L accounts and balance sheets is not a very sexy business. Okay, but we've got to convince people that it's more than that. You know, it's data-driven business.
But I'm interested, Bill, because part of the traditional role of the CFO is the gatekeeper. You sort of rein in the exuberance of people for the new. So you're the doubting Thomas to question people.
Sure.
And yet I sense in you, in some ways, you're the evangelist for this sort of approach. Have you lost sight of your heritage in that?
Not at all. And I would prefer to be the one out there pressing the boundaries, saying if we don't invest, we will be left behind. Because ultimately, short-sightedness in this investment process is going to hurt us in the long term. So yes, I am pressing for investment. Now, it's got to be sensible. People know that I'm conservative by nature in the way I do the finances, but we've got to press the limits, because if we don't invest in our digitisation at this stage, we will left behind and we'll leave our customers behind. And during COVID, another great advantage for banks was the first home owner deposit schemes that the government put into place. We have ridden on a wave of success, partly contributed to by that. And so we've got millennials coming in, the first homeowners, and they're saying, that's fine, but you sponsor the QRL, where's my QRL jersey? But more importantly, where's my Google Pay? Where's my Apple Pay? Where's all the digital platforms? So I don't have to go near a branch. Surprisingly, they still want branches, but they don't want to go into them. They want to be able to get on their phone or just, or their Apple Watch or whatever it is, and bang, their business is done.
And your own staff, Bill, because this transformation takes them on a journey into new places.
Sure.
How easy was it to migrate them to this new world?
It's very easy. I mean, I think through our branches, we've got people who are there with a real desire to serve. In central Queensland, we are well known, we have a good brand, and we know our customers. And some of those branch workers have been in there for decades, and so they know the people who come through the doors, they know families, they know their birthdays, they know when they've been on a holiday, but they want to deliver the best service. They also realise that along with that face-to-face, there is another level that they can take the customers to. We've been able to deliver that with their cooperation. At no stage have we had people holding back. In fact, it's a competition to get the financing for your digitisation project. It's been great.
I want to explore one point you mentioned a few moments ago about a data-driven business, data for decision-making, and yet I can't inherently feel, but finance is all about data. That's your bread and butter. So what's different about this new data-driven world?
Well, for example, one of the things I had to convince the other chiefs about with the finance digitisation process, the transformation we're going through, is at the end of it, will this just be a nice, efficient thing for finance to save themselves work, or will it deliver? And one of the undertakings we had to give was at the end of that, each of our products will be able to be valued, evaluated, profitability will be clear, and that the customer services, the operation services, the CEO, the board will be able to look at each product and through data-driven decision-making, decide what we're doing well and what we don't do anymore. So this is basic stuff, but bank legacy systems don't facilitate this very well, and we need to take it to the next level.
Are there any interesting insights that this data insight, this exploitation of data has given you?
I think one of the things is you must always bring the risk parameters into view. We have a chief risk officer. We need to make sure that everything we do has the scope of regulatory risk over it, operational risk, and really importantly for banks today, reputational risk. If the reputation of your bank is everything, as we know, our big cousins on the other side of town have been through a very tough time. We have fortunately been able to escape that because we're smaller, we're agile, we have good systems, but trust is everything in the bank, and we need to make sure that while we go through this, we can deliver our services seamlessly. There is no fallout. There are no times when you can't do your banking, but most importantly, you are delivering service and not trying to gouge your customers or be seen to be gouging them. You are really delivering to them.
And I sense you're also saying, though, it presents opportunities for you as an organisation. You can actually address opportunities that big banks may have rejected.
Sure. We have, for example, what we call our private bank. Now, these are high net worth individuals, but not super rich people, just people who are looking for a big home loan. And we've actually got a team of people who can deliver a one-to-one service with them. And that is something that probably the bigger banks are moving away from. They don't have that capacity. We, as a smaller community bank, have that. And that is growing exponentially. The problem is finding the staff and the talent to keep pace with the growth in it. As we can deliver, as well as a digitised service, someone to talk to if they have a problem. It is going to be a big growth area for us.
But the digitisation gives you the tools in some ways to serve those sort of people.
Absolutely. So we can concentrate on service, on things that really matter, rather than the process of the transaction. And I mean, people don't want to be filling out reams and reams of paper. They want to talk about themselves and their needs and how we can help them out.